Hi, this is Liz Coyne with Silverlinings. I'm here at Mobile World Congress in the Google Cloud booth with Alicia Abella. Alicia, thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me today, Liz. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do at Google Cloud.
Well, I am the Managing Director for the Telecommunications Industry Solutions Organization, and I have market lead responsibility for all of the Americas. That means Canada, the US, and Latin America. And I work very closely with the telecommunications operators in that region to be able to help them meet their challenges, help them develop new services, bring value to their customers using Google Cloud products and solutions that we bring in from the larger ecosystem of partners that we have.
So I'm sure you're talking with telcos here at the show. It's a big telco show, especially mobile operators, and 5G is a big topic. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what Google Cloud strategy has been over the last couple years and how you're helping operators get to the cloud?
Very good. Well, happy to do that. So for the last 2 years or so, we've been developing targeted industry verticals and organizations that are structured to be able to work with the various industry verticals. In this case, it's the telecommunications operators, both mobile and cable, to understand what their challenges are, what are they facing now, what kinds of transformations do they want to make, and how could they use Google Cloud products and solutions to help them on that journey. And I'd like to say that our strategy is one of partnership. So we'd like to partner with the operators. In many cases, we will co-develop and co-design solutions together. We want to go on this journey as partners. And in this fast-paced changing environment, because technology is changing very rapidly, it's important to partner because no one organization can do it all alone. So that's really been our strategy. We've actually, in the telecommunications vertical, designed and developed 4 pillars of our strategy. And they're each focused on a particular theme to help solve some of the problems that we know and challenges that the telecommunications face. One of those pillars has to do with network modernization. Many of these operators are on a journey to move a lot of their on-prem infrastructure, whether it's IT workloads that they have on-prem, to the cloud. And more, they're also moving some of their core network capabilities to the cloud. So we have one particular pillar of our strategy that's focused on developing products and solutions for that area of network modernization. We have another that's geared towards just IT modernization. How do they modernize their OSS systems, their BSS systems, and move that to the cloud? There's a third pillar, which has to do with customer experience and being able to create better customer experiences using artificial intelligence capabilities, analytics to be able to have conversations with customers when they call care. Yep. And then the fourth one has to do with edge computing, monetization of the 5G network, because a lot of operators come to us and say, I've made this huge investment in deploying 5G infrastructure. How can I monetize that now? How can I derive value to get a return on my investment?
So before we got started, you were giving me a little bit of insight to a customer meeting that you had with somebody from Brazil. And I thought it was a really interesting kind of angle to this, almost like a case study for what you just talked about. So can you give me a little bit of insight about what customers are coming to you to ask for help for?
Sure. Brazil, that was an interesting conversation because, as I said at the beginning in my intro, I have both North America and Latin America. And the operators in those 2 regions come to us with different challenges. And they're also at a different point in their transformation journey. And then you have to consider different economic situations that the different countries face. So we've been talking in North America about the inflation that we have and that we've been dealing with now for the past year and a half or so. But in a lot of Latin American countries, that's even bigger. So they're looking to us, especially in Latin America, for ways in which we can help them manage their cost. And how can the deployment of new networks be more cost effective? How can they operate and manage their network more efficiently? Now, we get that question also from the North American operators as well, but it seems more prevalent there because of the macroeconomic conditions. There's also geopolitical conditions that we have to worry about. So some of that factors into the solutions that we generate as well. We have to have a cloud that is a sovereign cloud, we call it, to be able to protect the data, keep it in country in many situations as well. So it's very important to understand the regional nuances when it comes to addressing some of the challenges that the operators face. And so in North America, they're a little bit more ahead in their journey of modernization and deployment of 5G. In Latin America, they're now starting to deploy 5G, and they're now starting to come to us with a lot of the same questions that maybe 2 or 3 years ago we were getting from North America. So it's interesting to be able to provide the solutions to these different regions because they're all at a different stage in their journey and they have maybe different challenges. But that's what we're here for, and that's why we partner with them.
So you did have some announcements from the show, so I thought you could kind of give me a little bit of an overview of what you announced and why.
Sure. So as I said also earlier, we're very focused on creating solutions that are particular to the telecommunications industry. And we listen to what a lot of these CXOs are telling us and asking us for. So as I mentioned earlier, they're looking for revenue generating opportunities, they're looking to be more efficient in the way they operate their network, they're looking for ways to delight their customers, make customer experience better. And so the solutions that we develop are trying to match those challenges. So this week we announced 3 specific products. They're called the Telco Data Fabric, and I'll go into each one of them a little bit, but Telco Data Fabric, Telco Network Automation, and then Telco Subscriber Insights. I'll start with the Telco Data Fabric product. The Telco Data Fabric product you can think of as a platform to collect and ingest data from disparate sources. I think we talked about this a little bit before we got on camera. It's important to collect data from the network, from the different layers that the telcos have to operate. The network, the automation that sits on top of the network that's automating all the workloads, figuring out where to actually put all the workloads so it's more effective. The applications that ride on it, the ones you and I use, all of those generate a lot of data. Then you have data about the usage. How does an end user use and consume that application and that service? What is their billing history? That sort of offline data, I'll call it. And then there's online data. The data is being generated as we use these services. And so that data fabric solution brings all that data together and now opens up the opportunity for the operator to develop insights that they couldn't before, because all this data was in silos, it was under different organizations, it was under different management. Now you have a common management platform for all that data. So that's one. The second one is the Telco Network Automation. Again, one of the questions we get a lot from the CXOs is, can you help me automate my network? Operations for a telco requires sometimes thousands of people. It's very manual, it's very labor intensive, and it also comes with a lot of pressure because if the network goes down, everybody notices. And there are important applications that ride on our telco's network, like 911 calls here in the US, right? So that has to be working. And so they're looking for ways to be able to use technology to automate some of that manual process of keeping the network up and running. But more so, what we're doing is using AI and machine learning capabilities to actually predict when something might go wrong, which is the next level of automation. So if you can predict when there's maybe degradations in performance of the network, you can automatically make changes and have the system self-heal itself, right, before something actually goes wrong. So that's Telco Network Automation. And then finally is Telco Subscriber Insights. And that's the ability to bring in customer data about how customers use the device, use the plans that they have, and combine it with Google's first-party data, which is the Google's marketing platform. Google has a big marketing platform product. And being able to deliver to the Android phone without SMS, it's embedded natively in the Android phone, messages to the end consumer to help them maybe understand their plans better, maybe even upgrade to a plan. Depending on what the operator finds out from the data that they're collecting, they can actually push these kinds of notifications to the end user and activate that. So if If I get a notification that says, you're running out of your data, you might want to upgrade it to the next bucket of data, then I can click on it and say, okay, upgrade it, it's done. And so it's a way to help build also customer loyalty.
Right.
It's a way to retain customers. It's a way to understand if I'm going to lose a customer, maybe I need to be a little more proactive with the customer. And all of that comes from your ability to bring all that data together into one data management platform that allows you to do that.
Just what you were talking about, I was thinking about when I landed here in Barcelona, I automatically got a text from my operator saying, you're now subscribed to the international data plan, which costs $10 a day, and I don't think I haven't been to the show for 5 years. So that was the first time that I was like, oh my gosh, technology's changed. Before I had to turn on international data before I left my house.
Yeah, you had to think about it.
Yeah.
You had to plan for it.
Right, you had to think and plan, and now it's just like, oh, I'm here.
That's
Thank
right.
you.
So it was a seamless experience.
Exactly.
Right? That's exactly what we want to deliver.
Exactly. So speaking of seamless experiences, how's the show been for you so far?
Well, it's been very busy, which is good. I was here last year, and I would say it was probably about half as busy last year. Yeah. And I suspect that still had to do with COVID, but you would not believe it now. It's very crowded, lots of people. There's a big buzz. I thought you might ask me this, and I was thinking, what is it that I've seen? What kind of theme do I see when I'm walking around? And I would say that a lot of it, if you look at the booths, every booth seems to have something that says 5G network monetization.
Yes.
Right? You've seen that too? So I think that's a big theme is, again, how do we monetize this investment that we've made? So that's very prevalent. There's a prevalence of also some of the next generation technologies that will utilize that 5G network. So use cases around AR and VR and immersive experiences. That's also quite common. Yeah. So all the use cases that are being enabled by 5G seems to be another one. Yeah. And it's been great because we've had an opportunity to meet a lot of the clients. A lot of them are here. And they've been wanting to stop by the booth and talk to us and find out more about the products that we've launched and what we're doing with other customers as well.
Right. Well, thanks so much for joining me today, Alicia. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Liz. Appreciate your time.